mulalah ya. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum dan selamat pagi. Bagi memberkati majlis perkongsian ilmu kita pada pagi ini, kita buka majlis dengan bacaan Ummul Kitab Al-Fatihah kepada yang beragama Islam dan kepada yang bukan beragama Islam mengikut bacaan masing-masing. Al-Fatihah. Okay. Tanpa melengahkan masa lagi kan, yang dihormati Dr. Denis ada di sini kan, Dr. Denis Timbalan Pengarah PPKA, seterusnya penceramah kita Profesor Madya Dr. Muhammad Suhaimi Taat, Timbalan Pengarah PLUMS. Seterusnya semua partisipan, semua para peserta PPKA Talk Series ke-8 pada hari ini. Pada hari ini ceramah PPKA Talk Series ke-8 akan membawa tajuk Learner Social Diversity and Implication in Teaching and Learning. Ini tanpa melengahkan masa lagi, saya serahkanlah sesi ini kepada Dr. Suhaimi untuk meneruskan ceramah beliau. Silakan, Doktor.
Okey, terima kasih banyak Puan Kashfi. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to everybody, especially to Dr. Denis, my friend, the Deputy Director of PPKA, and then I think here also we have Dr. Jun, the mantan of PPKA, mantan Director of PPKA, and then all the lecturers, all the staff, and everybody in this session, So thank you to PPKA for inviting me to maybe to share about this topic, the learners' social diversity and implication in teaching and learning. So when PPKA approached me to deliver this talk, so without take a long of thinking, then I accept it because I think it's very related and relevant to me and as well as to the university, because I think for years we most focus on the ICT, on the COVID-19, on how we can deliver our content of courses to our students, and then the curriculum review and whatsoever. And actually we are less talking about the social diversity, the impact on our student, how the social environment, how the university environment, the faculty environment that really actually can impact, hopefully positive impact on our student. So thanks again to PPKA for inviting me to give this, I think, very special topic. Maybe today not many can join us because I think today is the MSM just started. Most of the faculty is doing their MSM program online, including our faculty, Faculty of Psychology and Education. So they might attend other courses or lectures, whatever. So it's okay to me when someone invited me to give a talk or speech. So I just give the speech with disregard to the number of audience that might attend the talk or the lecture. Okay, so I hope my voice is clear. Then I should continue now. Okay, before we move on, I just like to share some of the pictures that we might familiar with. So the first picture is about the multi-racial. I think most of us here Malaysian, so we know that Malaysia consists of many races. Malay, the Bumiputras, the Chinese, the Indians, and etc. So actually we are very multiracial, multi-religious country. So it is something that we need to thank to our God. Very thankful, grateful, because although we are, we come from different background, especially races and religion, but we still can stay united together. So I think that when the British left and then give us independence, so maybe the British will think that, oh, Malaysia or those days we call it Tanah Melayu cannot sustain for more than maybe 2 or 3 years, because the Malay, the Chinese and the Indians, they are separately stay far away from each other. We know that the Chinese is in the town area, the Malay in the kampung, the village, and then the Indian were in the estate, so rubber tapper. So luckily, Alhamdulillah, but with the will of God, and then with the wisdom of our previous administrator, previous ministers, they are able to unite us together. So this is a very unique thing happened in our beloved country. Okay, and then this is 2 pictures. The first one is the flowers. You can see that flower, but in black and white. And then the second one is flowers, multiple flowers, colorful, in colors. So I think most of us, I cannot say all, but most of us prefer the second picture, because we like flowers with variety of colors, compared to the maybe a variety of flower but the similar colors, or we can have variety of colors but only one flower. Of course, most of us will prefer variety of flowers with multiple colors. So it goes the same with our country, with our nation, and even with our academic community now. Here in UMS alone, we have many lecturers that have different backgrounds, in terms of their races, their origin of country. We got also international lecturers. Even in Malaysia, we still have from different states. Like me myself, I come from Johor. I've been here for 26 years in Sabah. So I think this is a very unique thing that we need to know, and we need to really, I think, appreciate. Then when we want to appreciate this thing in our teaching and learning, this is the thing that we need to remember, that we are teaching students from different background, from different races, from different social economic status and whatsoever. So we cannot treat them equally. What I mean is that we need to focus on the equity, not on the equality. I will explain to you later what is the difference between equity and equality. Okay. So this is the food variety. This is alone in Malaysia. That's why we call Malaysia as truly Asia. We got this one, nasi lemak. I think everybody in Malaysia know this delicacy, the nasi lemak. And then this is the Chinese food. And actually we ate this food maybe frequently. This was very delicious as well. And this is the originally from India. It's the Indian food, chapati or whatsoever with curry, also delicious. That's why when you go to mamak restaurant, you can find nasi lemak, you can find Chinese food, you can find, of course, roti canai or chapati. Yeah. So you can find this type of food in Malaysia without worry. Easily we can find it. And then this is for Saban. I think you know this panjaram. So it's very delicious as well. And then I never tried this, although I've been here for 26 years. This is you can find it in Beaufort. Okay. And last one is this is we call as I think from Sarawak, cake lapis or cake batik. It's very also delicious. So what I want to share that and then to pinpoint is that there are a variety of not only races, not only social economic aspect, but also the food as well. So if we like to eat nasi lemak today, we will try to find nasi lemak. Then maybe tomorrow or next week, we want to try other type of food, and etc. So in order for us to get this food, we need to go to certain restaurant that provide or that supply this type of food. So we need to respect, we need to admit that we are in Malaysia, especially, we are people who come from different background, places, and we need to respect each other. Then when we teach our student, we also remember that they come from different backgrounds, so we need to respect their background as well. If we just focus on our own culture, on our own race or religion, or just focus on the local student without also include the internal student, so it's something that actually is not good for our educational areas. Okay. Now, rich versus poor. Okay. The first picture. Rich people will throw something in the dustbin. Sometimes the thing still can be used, but they throw it away because they are very rich. They are very, very rich. For them, 10 ringgit is nothing. Even 100 ringgit is nothing. They are very, very rich people. You know, like I think yesterday or before yesterday, when Facebook shut down for only how many hours? Less than 1 day, they lost 6 billion, 6 billion ringgit. No, 6 billion US dollar, 6 billion. You just imagine how they make money from that business. They are very, very rich people. And then the poor people, they try to find something that can benefit them. Maybe food, whatever they can sell to get money for that particular day. So the rich people throw away things even that still can be used, but the poor people will try find from the garbage things that they can, then can eat or they can sell to get money for that day. And then the second picture, same. Poor people try to find monies or cents in their pockets, but none, no money at all. The second picture, carry 2 bags full of monies, full of ringgits, for example. Very rich people, yeah. It's true actually. Some of my friends, a politician, when they go to the village, especially before the Pilihan Raya, okay, they will the political parties, they will bring many bags inside that full of monies to give to the kampung people, to the villagers, to get the support from the people. Okay, and then this different. I think the left hand, the left fingers, no jewels at all. The first, the right hand full of jewels, the pearls, the diamond ring. So very, very rich people. And then you can see the color of the nail. They can color the nail, but the left side, the left hand, nothing. So it's very poor people. And last one, of course, the left leg, it's very shiny shoes. And then the right one is very, very full of shoes. So this is the difference between us. Yeah, we need to accept this one. There are so many people outside there who jobless, don't have work, proper work. Yes, they have work, but don't have proper work like us. So it's not easy for them to get food every day. It's not easy for them to buy internet for their children to learn using online learning. And then, yeah, there are many of them actually have difficult in their life. So we need to very thankful that we are, alhamdulillah, we still can go to work every day and then try to contribute to our nation. Okay, the last one is I just want to share this picture. This is we call as induction set in education before we go to the real topic for today's session. So we like it or not, that we live in the globe, in this world, not alone, not only Malaysia, not only Malaysian. We are really close to each other, either in our nation in Southeast Asia, Singapore, Thailand, Vietnam, Philippines, and etc., or around the world. We are really diverse, and this is world community or global community. Those days, if you want to give news or send mail to our friend abroad, maybe in UK, it might take maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Then the letter will be arrived there. But now, with only one click, one one or 2 seconds, we just send email to our partner, to our friend outside Malaysia, abroad. Then they will be able to receive the mail that we send, the news that we send to them. Even now, no need for us to attend the seminars or the conference face to face or physical conference. We can easily attend the seminar conference via online. Then still we can have certificate. We can know each other very well via online. Okay, that's the things that actually drastically change in our society now. But that's change. We need to live with this change, and I believe that none of us ever think that we need to wear face mask every day. Every day we need to wear face mask when we go outside our house. It's something that are compulsory. Face mask is something compulsory every day when you want to go outside. So this is the change that we need to face. We need to yeah to live with. But again, actually there are change that people try to introduce some changes, but we need to think about to embrace, to accept it or not. We have choice. If we think that the kind of change that they want to introduce is really good or give some benefit on us, so we can accept. But if we think that the changes might not give benefit or just a little bit benefit compared to the harm, compared to the negative things that can give to us, so we must try to avoid that kind of changes that been introduced by some other parties. Okay, so this is the should I take this diagram from research? This the out of the research. The learner's social cultural experiences, norms and values. You see, this is only among the differences that have between our students and us actually. Norms and values, child and parental expectations are different. Family and community relationship also different. Girl and boy relationship also different. And then the religious and belief, the doctrine that we hold, that we believe, the tradition, the local discourse, and then in terms of socio-economic and political issues, community infrastructural development, racial and ethnic differences, living condition, and then the science, knowledge, and technology. It's about the food and food preparation, the tools, the games, the clothing, languages, and skills and competencies. All are different. So even in one family, I believe some of us have children. Let's say we have 4 children. There are characteristics that might be similar, but of course, there are many characteristics that they might be different from each other, even though they have the same father and mother. But the attitude, the talent, and then the behavior, the way they are think of something might be different. So we need to appreciate, we need to look at these differences as good from positive side. Okay, before I go further, anyhow, when we talk about education, especially in our country, we need to to look upon, we need to refer back to our national educational policy. So as we won't deviate from this part of education, this part of philosophy. So maybe some of you already remember this national education philosophy. We just recall back. So education in Indonesia is an ongoing effort towards further developing the potential of individuals in a holistic and integrated manner so as to produce individuals who are intellectually, spiritually, emotionally, and physically balanced and harmonic, based on a firm belief in and devotion to God. Such as effort is designed to produce Malaysian citizens who are knowledgeable and competent, who possess high moral standards, and who are responsible and capable of achieving high level of personal well-being, as well as being able to contribute to the harmony and betterment of the family, the society, and the nation at large. So, this is the thing that I urge, I suggest, and I'd like to ask all the educators, especially the teachers, the lecturers, the educators, whatever the terms, instructors, the trainers, they need to understand, they need really to embrace, and then they need to really have this understanding, deep understanding of this national educational philosophy, especially to the policy makers. Why? Because they are the one who plan for the policy to be implemented in our educational system. If they don't refer back to this philosophy, so how come our policy, the implementation of the policy, the guidelines will refer to this national educational philosophy? So because we need to refer back to this in order for us to know what is our main objective of the philosophy. Okay, just look at the what some of the words that are highlighted here. Individuals who are intellectually, spiritually, emotionally, and physically balanced. The word is actually balanced from these four elements, and actually five. The social one, social actually at the last sentence, few words there is the social aspect. So in terms of their own, in terms of their individual ability, they should be able to think intellectually, have a very strong spiritually, also strong emotionally and physically fit and balanced to contribute to the harmonious of our country. Why? Because yes, there are some students, maybe our students are very, very good in their academic achievement. 4 flat, 3.75, graduate with first class, but spiritually weak, emotionally weak, easily broken, and not healthy, maybe. Not really have a very healthy lifestyle. Just stay in a room, studying, doing assignment, don't have social contact whatsoever. So this is not good. Yes, he can perform well. On paper, 4 flat, it's 3.75 and whatsoever. But other aspect of life is very weak. It's not good as well. And so we need to balance all these elements to ensure that our students, especially that we produce in our university, are balanced intellectually, spiritually, emotionally. Yeah, because we can see from from other countries we call as a modern country, very technological country, but their population, their people easily commit suicide when facing some problem. Just commit suicide, kill themselves. For them, by killing themselves, they can solve the problem. But it's not that actually. When we kill ourselves, uh, yes, it might be ourself settle the problem, but how about that the loved one that we left behind? Okay, so that's the thing that we need to emphasize. And some people, when they are emotionally imbalanced, they cannot work with others. They cannot cooperate. They cannot listen to others. They just think that they are the one who are right. People need to listen to them only, but they cannot listen or don't want to listen to others. So this is the thing that we need to know. We need to understand. This is the 4 elements that is really important for an individual to be a very balanced person. On a firm belief in and devotion to God. I think most of us have religion. Islam, Christianity, Buddha, and whatsoever. So when a person devote himself to God, I think most of the problem can be solved. Maybe all the problem can be solved because we devote ourselves to God. That's why when we have problem that we cannot solve, we ask God to solve our problem. We say to God, we pray to God and ask God's help to solve our problem. So that's why we need to have a firm belief and devotion to God. Why? Because we want to produce a person, a citizen who are knowledgeable and competent. Competent means that's the word in Malay, in this philosophy we call as keterampilan. Keterampilan is not appearance, it's not penampilan. Terampil is the competencies we call as the comprehensive competent. They are very competent in all aspects, in their field, in their life, as a human being. So knowledgeable. Why? Because the person who don't have knowledge, they cannot compete. There are one theory in sociological education, we call it as the survival of the fittest. And the survival of the fittest. But not fit enough to live in this era of globalization, he or she will be defeated. I mean that left behind. Cannot compete with other person who can go further. So knowledgeable and competent. And who possess high moral standards. Then again, they are meaningless, useless if a person, to me it's useless if a person graduate with 4 flat, look very good, can get job easily, but less or not having high moral of standards, low morality in their life. And then who are responsible and capable of achieving high level of personal well-being. High personal well-being. Why? Because if you want to build a nation, a good civilization, we need to have each and every one of the people in that particular country or organization need to have a very good personal well-being, as well as being able to contribute to the harmony and betterment of the family. You see, here is the harmony and betterment of the family. A person will make a family. A person get married when another person, of course, different gender, not the same gender. Male with female get married, then develop a family with children. A family will develop more to become a village, for example, a district. And then a district, more villages will form a state. Then state will form a country. Yeah, that's how we build a nation from a person. So contribute to the harmony and betterment of the family, the society, and the nation at large. So we try very best to produce our student to be a person at least can give something to the family. Or the least one actually is if a person cannot give something good to the community, to the country, at least he or she don't make trouble to the family, to the society. Just stay there, you stay put there, keep silence, do whatever you want to do, just don't make trouble to other people, don't make trouble to the society. Means that if you are not useful or you are useless, but don't be someone who can make trouble to the family or to the society or to the organization. You stay your own self, don't disturb others. Okay, that's the thing that we need to know about the national education philosophy. So now I focus on the lecturer-student relationship because the focus of this topic is about the implication on the teaching and learning. So we are the lecturer. I think most of us here are the lecturer. And then we have our students. Last one is the transformation. So it's not only we transfer the content, lecturer, the teacher, whatever, the educators, we are actually not only transfer the content, we transfer the knowledge, but we need to transform our student to become someone else, someone better, that can give something back to the community, to their family and to their society as well. So in order to achieve that, we should have a very positive relationship with our student. So treat student as human being because both of us, lecturer and student, are the same. They are people, they are human being, humankind, and we are the same as well. So try to treat them, yes, they are our student, but they are still human being. Try to understand them from their point of view, from their perspective. Okay. Again, if you want our student to respect us, appreciate us, we need to appreciate first, respect our student. Same with others. If you want others to respect us, to appreciate us, we need to respect, we need to appreciate other people first before others can appreciate and respect us as human beings. So this morning, I would like to, before I go further in this topic, so the whole speech today or talk today from the perspective of interactionism theory. That is one theory in educational sociology. We call it as interactionism theory. So this is the perspective that I try to bring for this morning session. So sorry, maybe the words is quite many and quite small. I hope you still can read it. But later on, if anybody want to have this slide, I will give this slide to the staff in charge, and she will share with you later on. Okay, interactionism or symbolic interactionism is a social action or micro theory based around the idea that individuals create meaning based on their interaction with others. Based on their interaction with others. So, we can see here the importance of interaction. That's why the word is interactionism. How we interact with our student, how our student we interact with us will affect the student's behavior because they take the meaning from the interaction. If they take the positive meaning from the interaction, then it's good for him or her. But if the student take negative meaning from that kind of interaction, then of course, the implication will be very, very bad to our students. Why? Because they come from different background. Again, they come from diverse. We come from diverse background. So different society, different races, different religions, sometimes they look at one thing, one similar thing differently. A single symbol might give different perception. That's a single symbol, not if many single, of course, they will look at it differently. Same with one cake. If you look at the cake from the top, it won't be the same if you look the cake from the side. So normally, if we ask our children, okay, now our student, try to divide the cake into 4 pieces. So when they look at the cake from the top, the idea is only just cut the cake into 4 from the top. So if just imagine now you have a cake, you want to divide the cake into 4 pieces, so you just cut it twice. Okay, you cut one from the top to the bottom, and then from the left to the right, and then you will having 4 pieces of cakes. But if you look from the side, actually, if you just cut from the top to the bottom, and then we cut it, we divide into 2 from the side, we also can have 4 pieces of cakes. So that's different. How we look at life, at one thing, is different compared to others. So the interactionism emphasizes on the interaction between the lecturers and the student. So in the context of education, interactionists focus on the interaction between students and education. Is that the first one is interaction among the students, and second one is between students and the educators, or us lecturers or teachers, whatever the names are. Looking at concepts such as labeling and the processes and relationship that happen within institution. So if the relationship, if the interactions are positive, then it should bring a positive impact, a positive implication either to the individual or to the whole institution. And they would tend to look at such processes to explain differential achievement for different social groups rather than looking to structural external factors. So interactionism look within the people, among the people, the connection between them, not the factors, outside factors that can give implication on the student, like the political factors, economic factors. No, we're not looking at that. Actually, we are trying to control the things that something happen within us with our students. So different social group, different achievement. Yeah, of course, most of the research found that the students who come from the urban area, of course, their results, achievement will be better compared to the rural area. Of course, there are many variables or many elements that might contribute to such finding. So this is the thing that we need to look. Even though they come to the university here in KK and UMS, but still they have different background. And now most of our students, they are at their home, not here. So when we do our online learning, yes, maybe the university, the government, the Ministry of Higher Education, they give the student, uh, the internet coverage. They pay for the for the subscription of the Wi-Fi, whatever. But we give them something. But if they don't have that facilities, they don't have a very good coverage internet at their village. So how come they can attend our courses, our class? So that's the thing that we need to think about.
Doktor,
So they already observe.
Dr. Suhaimi.
Yep.
Sorry mengganggu, tapi boleh ke paparan ni dibesar slide ni, Doktor? Sebab kami nampak separuh.
Okay. So
Boleh,
sorry
Doktor.
ya.
Sorry.
Okay, so Miss Dad, saya kena share satu screen lah ni ya. Sekejap Okay, I will share my whole screen lah. So you can see the slide bigger.
Okay, sudah.
Okay. Thank you for your response. At least I know that I'm talking to somebody, not I'm talking. Okay, so now we look at the meaning of diversity. Okay, diversity is everything that makes people different from each other. So this includes many different factors: race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, socioeconomic status, ability, age, religious belief, or political conviction. There are so many actually. There is what I'm trying to share with you this morning is some of that. The race, even among the races here we have the ethnics here in Sabah. So when I come to Sabah, uh, when they ask me, yes, I'm Malay. But when I went to the school. I was posted here at school in Tenem Sabah. So there they look not only at the bigger the race, but actually the ethnic. So now I know that why here in Sabah we have so many ethnic. I think more than around 40, more than 30 ethnic here. Yeah, so many. So when people ask me now, uh, I'm not saying that I'm Malay. So because here we need to, to mention our ethnic. So I'm Javanese, Jawa, for example. So race, and then the ethnicity, the gender, social orientation. I think the most common and the most not problematic, but we will discuss more maybe about the socioeconomic status. Even if you look from the point of view from different discipline like sociology, some of the scholars they divide the social stratification into 5 levels. But my lecturer those days they said that we can divide the social status into 9 strata. 9 strata. Normally we divide the social status into upper class, middle class, and lower class people, right? Upper class, middle class, and lower class people. And normally we consider ourselves in the middle class. Yeah, we are lecturer, maybe teachers. Our salary, maybe most of us more than 5,000. We are not B40, we are not M40. We are more a little bit from M40. Yeah, but can we consider ourselves? Can we claim that we are at the middle class? We don't know because it's different. How we define rich? If the people define rich from the monthly salary of 100,000, yeah, maybe we are at the middle class. But if people define rich with salary of monthly 10 million ringgit, maybe we are at the lower class. So that's why the term rich is very subjective. So socioeconomic status also very, very subjective. Same with the ability, the age. That's why some people, they just say that age is just a number. Why? Yeah, at some point I agree with him. Age is just a number because we can die now. It's not we cannot wait. Okay, later on when I get retired, I will do blah blah blah. Okay, I want to buy a bigger house later on when I get retired. I want to buy Mercedes, BMW. I want to go everywhere in this world. I want to travel when I get retired. The case is that if you get retired, if you reach the retirement age, if you don't reach, so you cannot continue with your plan. So that's why age is just numbers. Just numbers. Religious belief or political conviction. Okay. So all these factors work together to inform how students and lecturers and everyone else encounter the world. Okay. So when we look at this matter differently, from different perspective, from different angle, so actually it's not easy for us to really teach our student because they come from different background, different ability, different perception, and we try to give something that we consider as one size fits all. Similar curriculum, similar learning outcomes, and most of the things are very, very similar. So it's a challenge for us to achieve that kind of, we say, of the learning objective. But yeah, it's our challenge. We need our very best to try to achieve that. Understanding each student brings unique experiences, strength, and ideas to our classroom. So I use the term classroom. It's either at school or in university, is still a classroom. Even now we are using online classroom, not really physical classroom, but online classroom. So diversity is the exploration and incorporation of these differences to enrich learning in our classroom. So we should use this variety of races, of different backgrounds, uh, as the advantage, the strength, to teach our student, to make our class meaningful, to make our class can achieve the learning objective that we want to achieve, and at least to make our student learn something. How many of us think or make some reflection after we teach certain courses that our student really get what we teach or might not get what we teach? Really understand what we delivered or not understand what we delivered at all, maybe. So I think we need to do some reflection. We need to do some reflection. Is it achieved or not achieved? Or at the first stage, is it achievable or not achievable? Looking at this kind of diversity. And then students go to the class to be prepared for the workforce, the workplace. They depend on the courses or the program. They might become an accountant, a teacher, a doctor, businessman, or what? Looking at the television sector, whatsoever. So teaching must be effectively addressed and embrace the realities that come with living and working in diverse institution, community, and country. So when we prepare our students with all these elements, so when they finish their study, it will become easier. I'm not saying that easy, but will become easier for them to adapt and adopt themselves with the different situation that they might face in their workplace. They might work with different races or maybe with international companies, and they might face different type of client from different background or socioeconomic aspect, so they can deal with all these things wisely. That's why we try to instill wisdom in our students. The wisdom, in Malay we call it as hikmah or bijaksana. Hikmah or bijaksana, because not all the clever person, they are wisdom, they are wise, they have their own wisdom. But I believe that most of the wise person, they are clever. They are clever. So we need to prepare our student with the workforce. Otherwise, if we just focus on the content of our course, we want them to really have a very deep understanding of the particular knowledge or skill that we want them to understand, to get, and we just ignore the social aspect, how they are able to understand others. So later on, it's not easy for them to work with others. Or if he or she get the position in the company, either the government agencies or non-government, so the interpersonal aspect, the emotional aspect will be lesser. They might be unable to communicate effectively with others. How to talk with the boss or the bosses, how to talk with the similar level of workplace, if we are at the administration level, how we can, how we need to talk with other counterpart, and how we should talk with our subordinate, for example, with the clerk. So we need to teach them, or they need to know the level of language, or in Malay we call it as laras bahasa. We need to use suitable the proper words when we talk to our parents, when we talk to our boss, and we need to use the proper words when we talk to our kids as well. So these things, they need to learn it maybe indirectly during our class, during our lecture. Okay, so while in the past, it has focused on strengthening intercultural tolerance, new ideas about diversity and inclusion have developed, shifting the focus towards enriching human learning and experience, so-called as unity in diversity. So I think this term, I think we familiar with this term, unity in diversity, means that in our diverse community, diverse people, especially here in Indonesia, we try to unite among us. Then so far until today, it seems that we manage, we successfully do this. We don't know in the future, but so far, Alhamdulillah, we are still unite together. Yes, there are maybe 2 or 3 circumstances, situation that uh, might have problem in certain area, but overall, it's still considered as okay. So when it comes to education, unity in diversity in the classroom doesn't seem far-fetched idea anymore for any globally minded lecturer. So we are, Alhamdulillah, I think most of us here, for the lecturers, we are globally minded. We are trained to have this kind of mind. Not, but we cannot forget the local mind as well. So we have to need both type of minded, locally minded and globally minded. And that's why I'm very thankful. I was when I was a student at UIA. So there we had so many international students from all over the world. Even though I never been overseas those days, I did my degree, my educational diploma, my master and PhD here in Malaysia. But Alhamdulillah, during my 4 year studies in UIA, I learned so many things about international people because there we have so many international people, and also from Malaysia we got from from southern part of Malaysia, from northern part of Malaysia, from Kedah, from Penang, from the east part, from Kelantan, Terengganu. The slang are very different with us, like me from Johor, so we need to understand the slang, and then from Sabah, Sarawak as well. So it's very a diverse people, community background, but alhamdulillah we manage to live with that until now. Okay, so this can be accomplished by either having technology that connects students with foreign knowledge and cultures, or by having an international student body to make the learning environment multicultural and diverse. So this is in terms of the management of international and local students as well. So some universities they emphasize on the international student, but they might forget a little bit about the local students. So the management also need to look at this. Don't only focus on the international, but also focus on the local. Some give more emphasis on the local, forgetting the international. So we need to be balanced between these two type of students, either local or international students, to make sure that both local and international they know each other. They can sit to each other side by side, talk to each other. They are not doing group assignment within their own country. Like say, I don't want to state the name of any state or country. Let's say A, B, C, D is from state 1. So this group only for state 1. And then E, F, G, H from state 2. So they are assembled at one group to do the group assignment. No, we try as a lecturer, we need to advise our student that we urge them, or we can make it compulsory that I want the group assignment. The group should be consisted from all the races. Let's say from all the states in this country, or if you have international student in this class, you need to make sure that they are included in one of the group, not let them alone to do their own assignment. Okay, so what is the advantages, the good thing about diversity? First one is diversity in the classroom builds critical thinkers. Critical thinkers. So decades of research by organizational scientists, psychologists, sociologists, economists, and demographers show that socially diverse groups, that is, those with a diversity of race, ethnicity, gender, and sexual orientation, are more innovative than homogeneous groups. So when we are diverse, this is the finding. Maybe we also can call as the theory as well. So they perform better, more innovative than homogeneous people, homogeneous group. Homogeneous means that the similar races, the similar background. Why? Because common sense. I think common sense that when we are living with different people around us, we feel that we need to work more. We need to work harder in order for us to achieve something, because the competition is very, very hard. The competition between maybe the races, the gender, whatever, maybe the lower group people, they want to become a rich people, so they need to work harder. The rich people, they are there already. They're already rich. They have a very convenient and luxury lifestyle. But for the lower group people, lower income group, they need to work harder to get more income. And maybe one day they will become rich people like those who are already there. So means that they are more innovative in terms of their thinking, in terms of their behavior, and in terms of their attitude, because they want to gain more in their life. And then the appearance of diversity, and we did the suggestion that different opinions exist, makes us change how we approach issues. Yes, because we are from different background, so we tend to look one issue differently. We look one issue from different angle because we try to satisfy, to answer from different background. Okay, let's say one problem, maybe we look at one academic problem. So if you only look at one angle from the perspective of a poor student, so we might come into unfair to the others who might come from the upper class, for example. So we need to look at one problem from different angle, from different perspective. So that makes us critical thinkers. Students are no exception to this rule. Diversity in the classroom helps students develop social awareness, which helps them appreciate different perspective and draw stronger conclusion. So they will be more aware of their surroundings, of their friends. When they want to talk about something, they will be more sensitive to others. They will think first before they talk about something, because they know when they talk about one issue, this issue might not be harmful, might be not sensitive to the same race, to him or herself, but it might be sensitive, might be harmful to other races, to other group of their friends. So they will be socially aware, or social awareness will be higher, because they will appreciate different perspective and draw stronger conclusion. And challenging students to consider different perspective can also teach them how to interact with their peers on a social level, and equip them with skills they will be used, they will be used for the rest of their life. So this will help them to live better, to live in a harmony condition, because in Asia, I think we are used to this. We are familiar with living in one, let's say, condominium with different neighbors. Maybe the left neighbor is, like if I'm, let's say you are Malay, like me, maybe my left neighbor is Chinese, and left is Indian, and then in front my house is the, let's say, international or expatriate, and whatsoever, different people, different races. So if we already make them familiarized with all these differences, diversity in the university, so it will become easier for them later on in the future to live in any community that they will live with. Okay, and then it also will foster creativity. Diverse study environments also drive creativity when interpreting and using knowledge and facts, knowledge, data, and facts. So yeah, because we will think about others, we think more. When we do more thinking, so that will create creativity. Some people ask how we can be creative. Actually, when we look into a problem, then we try to solve the problem, then the creativity will come. The creativity will come because we try to solve the problem, the same problem, differently. For example, we give our student a problem, the one problem, then we can ask our student to solve the problem. So if we ask 5 students, maybe they will give us different ways to solve the same problem. So that's we call it also as creativity. Group activities with diverse group members helps create a positive atmosphere and group dynamic for creative and collaborative learning. For creative and collaborative learning. That's why now the term is collaborate. So what is the difference with cooperative? There are some people, some students, or maybe some of us confused between cooperate and collaborate. So to my knowledge, in my opinion, what I learned is that cooperative, let's say cooperative teaching or cooperative learning is within the same field, within the same discipline. Okay, within the same discipline. For example, at schools because I was a teacher, I still actually I'm a teacher now, teaching at a different level. So at school, if I want to teach, let's say, science, with my fellow science teacher, let's say we call as pair teaching. So we call that as cooperative teaching. Cooperative teaching. That's we call as cooperative teaching. But the word collaborative means that from different background, from different discipline. For example, we want to conduct a motivational course, a motivational camp. So we like to do collaborative work. The science teacher with the religious teacher, with the maybe with the economic teacher, they work together. They do collaborative things to conduct a motivational talk or motivational camp. That's why we call as collaborative learning. So the students, they come from different background, from different races and opinion, and then that's we call as collaborative learning. Okay, bringing diverse students together helps with critical thinking or problem solving, especially when applied to real world problem. Okay, so I think this is very clear that diverse students will help to uh, come to the critical thinking and problem solving, especially after they graduate. That's the main issue that we need to think that are they well prepared for the real world problem, for their workplace later on. Okay, and then the good thing about this diversity is that student performance or academic outcomes. Diversity in the classroom doesn't just improve social skills. We already discussed about social skills. It can also have an impact on academic results. It improves critical thinking skills and encourages academic confidence. Yeah, of course, because they already familiar with different races, with international students. let's say this student, one student come from village, from kampung, uh, his parents is a farmers from the low income group. Okay, but when he or she come to the university, get along together with their friends who come from different social status, background, races, then they will be having more confidence in their academic achievement as well. Say they will very brave, confident. They want to face others, especially later on when they go for work. Exploring differences enriches their learning experience. Studies have demonstrated that fostering diversity in the classroom has a huge impact on student performance. Okay, this based on the empirical studies. Fostering diversity in the classroom has a huge impact on student performance. Again, I just mentioned it to all of you just now that they have a very high level of confidence, of motivation, because they want to compete among each other. They don't want to be left behind. They will hold the principle of survival of the fittest. So students achieve more and work harder in multicultural environments. Also, when lesson plans reflect the students and their varied backgrounds, they develop a deeper knowledge of a subject as they explore it from varying perspectives. This equips students with a broader understanding and opens their minds to deeper insights. Okay, so they will achieve more, work harder. Okay, and then they will get deeper knowledge of a particular subject because they explore it from varying perspective. They learn from their friends, not only similar races, different place of origin, uh, different social status and whatsoever. Physically, of course, difference as well. So this will equip the students with a broader understanding and opens their mind to deeper insights, to get the wisdom. Again, the wisdom. And then it helps students feel represented and included. And included. Okay. Diversity can disrupt narratives and stereotypes in the classroom that position diverse people as lacking in valuable knowledge or unqualified. This is not true. When we can cope, we hold the diversity in our society. So when schools take inclusive and responsive, schools, this might be universities, institution, whatever, approaches to diversity, students are more likely to see their identity represented in classroom materials or other students. Which that, as a lecturer, as a teacher, educator, we need to give example from different kind of materials, different perspective, not only from one perspective, one race, one religion, one social status of life. So we need to give different learning example or materials. So when diversity is not a priority and these students don't feel included, so they are more likely to not participate and feel inferior to their peers. So if one lecturer only give example from one angle, from one perspective, maybe from the perspective of high income group, blah blah blah, from one races, let's say from only Malay perspective. So the other races, the other people from different income group will don't give attention and might be will feel inferior. We are not being recognized in this class. So why should we follow the lectures, for example? So diversity is important to cultivate in our classroom because of the academic and social benefit. So we need to cultivate this kind of diversity in our lecture. Okay. So now we look at some ways, not complete, but I just try to share some ways to encourage a culture of diversity in the classroom, or how we manage diversity. First one, I just explained that re-evaluate our teaching materials, re-evaluate our slides, maybe re-evaluate our content. Might be we cannot change the content, yeah, but maybe the material, the learning aids, the teaching aids, the examples that we give our students, the assignments. So we need to re-evaluate. Okay? So which voices are speaking in our classroom? Which voices? Is it from the lower group people, or from the middle group people, or from the upper class people? Or is it only from, sorry to say, let's say if the class majority is the Bumis, is it only from the Bumis? We disregard other races. Or if the class is majority the international student, we only recognize the international example. And then we disregard our local student. So which voices are speaking in our classroom? So that is, whose stories do we tell? So we just telling the story of Hang Tuah, Sri Hang Lepo, or we just want to share about something from international stories that we want to share with our student. So do not be limited to certain race, religion, gender, sorry, typo error, gender and social class. We need try to include, if not everything, almost everything. That's why if you cannot do everything, don't left everything. Okay, try to do something. If it is difficult to change the existing curriculum, of course, we need to follow the curriculum. But again, I believe that we know that in the university that we can do, not only we can do, we must do a curriculum review within 5 years at least, or 3 years, the best, 3 to 5 years. So when we review the curriculum, we try to include this matters, this aspect in our curriculum. So if it is difficult to change the existing curriculum, use the opportunity to ask students why different perspective are included and challenge them to apply critical thinking skills. So we just want our students to think more, to try to look from different angle, and then they will understand. They will appreciate what they have today, and they will try to benefit others and not to be selfish with their own self. And then second, or I think the next idea is to get to know your student better. So all the students in our class are unique individuals. Unique. As I mentioned before, even our children at home, we have 2 or 4 kids, for example. Even they come from same father and mother, but their attitude, their talent, their interests are different. That's our own children. Just imagine our students. So they are very unique individuals. So use that fact to build a diverse and inclusive class culture. So we use that fact. We need to accept that fact, like or not. So that's the fact that our students in our class are unique individuals. They are different. So use that fact to build a diverse and inclusive class culture. And then take the time to learn about our students. Where do they come from? From village, from the island, Sabah, we know that many islands, from the coastal area, from the interior part of Sabah, or are they from poor people? There may be some students from the village, but they are very rich people, rich family, from the urban, from the city area. So we need to know where do they come from. What kind of socio-economic situation do they live in? Are they meeting academic achievement standards? Because, yeah, we know that most, I think all of us are qualified to join our course, to join our program. Yes, but some of them are qualified just in Malay we call as cukup-cukup makan, at the minimal level, minimum requirement. They meet the very minimum requirement, then they join our program. Some of the students, their friends are very, very smart, very, very bright. They join our program with STPM or with A level or for flat. So they are still having different level of cognitive aspect of abilities. So are they meeting academic achievement standards? Or are they struggling? If they are very bright, clever, they will be easily learn what we want to teach them. The content, they will be easily for them to understand that. But for those who are quite low in their academic achievement, they will be struggling. So we cannot treat them equally. Means that we cannot expect that all the students are very, very clever. We need also to think about some students who might face problem with the, of course now online learning with the internet, with the lack of facilities, lack of books, or access to the online journals, online learning aided that we might share with other students. Do they get along with their peers? Some of them now, I believe that because they're staying home, they are not really face to face with their friends, physically face to face. They're just face to face, but online. So can they get along? I'm not very sure. Last semester, I had one course. One of my students from Iran, some of them from China. So I'm not very sure how they can manage to with each other. So I just said to them that I asked them that okay, try to mix up with your friends in the group assignment. I asked this local student, the head of the group, to include all these international students within their group, okay, so they can get along with their peers. So when we know our students and understand their strengths and weaknesses, we are better equipped to help build a safe and secure learning environment where all of them can thrive. So when they feel secure, when they feel safe, when they feel comfortable, when they don't have any hesitation to learn, they can voice up easily, freely, then they can thrive. They can successful in their academic achievement. So that's the environment that we need to try to make to introduce in our class. All the students will feel free to say. All of them will feel comfortable. None of us feel down. So we need to try to make that kind of environment, the safe, secure, comfortable, so they won't hesitate. When we ask them, they are brave to say something. They won't feel the inferiority complex in themselves. So they are equal among them. So something that we need to try to do in our classroom. Okay, so ensuring the cultural awareness is promoted in the classroom starts with the teacher, us, lecturer, the teacher, the educator, understanding each individual student. Of course, I think it's not possible, especially for a class consists of hundreds of students. Yeah, but we just try our best to know some of them at least. Take the time to learn about each student's cultural background. At least we know the overall student, our students' background, their hobbies, what they like, what they dislike, learning styles, and what makes them unique. Yeah, learning styles. There are at least normally we refer to 3 types of learning styles: the visual, okay, the VAK, audio, and the kinesthetic. The visual, the audiovisual, the audio, and the kinesthetic. Because some students they like to see something, learn by seeing something, watching something, demonstrating. when we demonstrate something to our students, they like to look at, to see. Some students, they tend to learn, prefer to learn by using audio, listening. Only listening is already enough for them. But some like to doing it, and kinesthetic, by doing the things that they want to learn. So this is 3 type of learning styles, but actually there are many. This is the basic one, the 3 type of learning styles. And what makes them unique? So try to use this uniqueness as the strength in our teaching. Demonstrating a genuine interest in learning about each student and their culture will help establish trust and allow us to form a bond with them, so they feel valued. A person, a human being, when they feel valued and they feel appreciated, they feel that the lecturer respect them, have genuine interest in themselves, so they will like you as a person as well. When they like us as a lecturer, then it will be easily for them to like our course, to like our content that we want to deliver, we want to share with them. So I personally always believe that it's not about the subject is difficult or easy. It's about how we manage to attract our student attention, to make them to like not ourselves actually, our style of teaching, our approach, and like our subject. So when they like our subject, of course, they will gain more and more about our content or skills that we want to share with them. Okay, so this is very important for us as a lecturer to understand, to know our student genuinely, sincerely, and then we will have their attention and their respect. If students feel appreciated by and comfortable with the lecturer, there's a better chance they will feel comfortable talking with and respect their peers in the class. And communication is the core to a culturally aware and inclusive classroom. That's why at the beginning of the talk, I mentioned about the interactionism theory, the interaction between the teacher or the lecturer with the students and interaction among the students. Okay, so when the students feel comfortable, they feel there is no bias in the classroom, the lecturer are equally teaching them among them, treat them equally, so they will be able to talk to each other, discuss with their peers and friends easily, comfortably. This is the main thing that we need to emphasize, because communication is the core. Why? Because we are human beings. We communicate to each other. So the way we communicate, the language that we use, the body language that we show will influence this kind of communication and will give the impact to the student. This will reflect us as well. And then be willing to address inequality. One of supporting diversity in the classroom is creating a safe space for students and educators to talk about how issues of discrimination affect them on a personal, classroom, and university-wide at a wide level. Okay? Means that we need to admit that, we explain to them that they need to admit that, because of course in this world, in terms of people, we are diverse, so we need to admit and respect this inequality, and we need to talk about it openly, but without touch about some sensitive matters. So the more diversity is a topic of discussion in your faculty, university, whatever institution, the less students and lecturers will hesitate to address it. So they will say, oh, this is something that we can discuss. We can talk academically, not politically. We can get the benefit from it. We can have the chat. We can discuss during the forum, during the any event that we want to hold for this particular thing that we want to do. So as a leader, as a dean or the director, you are in a position to lead the conversation and inspire others in the faculty to take action. So fair does not equal the same. Fair means making sure that every student has what he or she needs to succeed, both personally and academically. So when you lead the conversation and follow through with action, you signal that discrimination will not be tolerated in your faculty or university. So means if we are the dean, we are the director, so we try to make sure that the student get been treated equally, fair, treated fair. That's why I mentioned at the earlier stage of my talk about the equity and utility. So the term in Malay we call keadilan, bukan kesaksamaan. Equal is like this. Equal, for example, I have, let's say I have four children. If I want to be equal to my children, I just buy them the similar size, the same size of shirt. For my eldest one, my daughter, age 16, I buy her size L, for example. For my second one, age 14, also size L. For my third one, age 11, also size L. And then for my youngest one, age 6 also, L size. So that's equally distributed, equal size. So that's not fair. That's not fair. Okay, in want to the fairness, keadilan, fair, I will buy for my daughter, of course, size. For example, this size L size. Second one, L size. The third one, M size. And the last one, the smallest one, the S size, according to their actual body size. So that's we call as fair. So fair means making sure that every student has what he or she needs to succeed, both personally and academically, according to their own ability, according to their own background. Okay. So when you lead the competition, follow through with action, we walk the talk. Some people, they just talk, but they are not doing that, not walk the talk. Do signal that discrimination will not be tolerated in your faculty university. So that's why it's good for us now. For me, myself, I try not to know the student's name. I just look at the student's metric number. Because I'm afraid that if I look at the student's name, I know the student, let's say, I know him or her, so I might tend to have bias. So if I don't know the student's name, I just look at the metric number when I key in the marks, so it won't have any bias. I will give the mark exactly that he or she deserve for that particular assignment or examinations marks. So we don't want to give any discrimination or unfairness to our students. Maintain consistent communication. Okay, maintain consistent communication. Aside from getting to know your students, lecturer should also continue to maintain ongoing communication throughout the semester of academic year. So maintain consistent communication. A positive one, a very effective communication. For 14 weeks, 14 weeks, yeah, now we have online learning. We are allowed to give maybe 40%, 30% online learning. Yeah, those days face-to-face. Now, I think online learning is just a matter of synchronous or asynchronous. Some lecturers, they are very busy. They just record their teaching, their lecture, and then they upload in the Smart V3 or any medium that they want to share. Is it good? Yeah, to me, yeah, in terms of delivering the lecture, giving the content of the course, yes, is something that achievable. We achieve that objective. But if we just do that, we don't have the two-way communication. Maybe the student can ask later on using Smart V3 or group, Telegram group or WhatsApp group. Yeah, but it's not spontaneous. It's not, I mean, at that particular time during our lecture. Then it's not a two-way communication that we can share with other students as well. Because sometimes our student only PM us. It's very individual message type of communication. So we just reply this thing to our student. We cannot share with others. It's better if they ask in a group or during the lecture, online lecture, the synchronous. If one student asks a question and we answer that particular question, the answer can be shared with others as well. Scheduling small group meetings with students allow the lecturer to consistently improve how accessible this classroom is to everyone. Students can talk about whether they felt included in the classroom culture. Okay, so it's good for us to have this kind of consistent communication. So this can help identify issues or ways to improve the overall experience. It also an opportunity to discuss their progress in their class and offer guidance or guidelines or advice on how they can improve based on their individual needs as a student. Again, their needs are different from each other. So we might give answer based on their needs, based on their situation. Again, we cannot have this approach of one size fits all. They have different size, of course. So they cannot fit with other size. And then acknowledge and respect every student. As I mentioned earlier, treat our student as human being because we are human being. They are also human being. It is also important for students to celebrate and respect their own diverse backgrounds as well as each other's. When appropriate, lecturers should encourage students to research and learn about their own ethnic and cultural backgrounds. Maybe our course nothing to do with this cultural, with this ethnic, whatever. But yeah, maybe we can instill or we can put one or two topics that's something to do with this diversity. So they will appreciate themselves and then they will also appreciate others. Okay? The term is that sometimes when we go for meeting, we must hold a concept of we are agree to disagree. We agree to disagree. We cannot force others to listen to us, and others also cannot do the same on us. But we need to respect others' opinion. That's why normally in a meeting, when the name is a meeting, so if the member of that meeting want to say something, just let him say something. And when the person says something, it is the right for others to listen, to accept or not to listen, to accept to his opinion. Okay, then at the last stage, we will do the decisions. I think, to me, the function, purpose of having a meeting. Okay, let's go back to this topic. This allows them to better understand their own culture as well as the differences and nuances with their peers. As a bonus, this can be a great icebreaker assignment, allowing students to give presentations about their family tradition and culture to help expose the class to the concept outside of their own familiar comfort zone. acknowledging these differences and creating a safe space for this discussion helps promote understanding in the classroom and beyond. So actually, to me, myself, personally, I learned about this diversity personally when I was a teacher. When I was posted first stage as a teacher in Sabah in interior district, Tenem, Sabah. It was long ago, 1995. For me myself, during my schooling time, I was student at a religious school from Form 1 until Form 5, religious school. Then I went to UIA, UIA, International Islamic University. And my course for degree is Islamic Studies. My minor is Sociology. That's why now I'm sharing you about the sociological aspect. Okay. Then I never expect that I will be posted to Sabah and at a Chinese school. Chinese school. Okay, Chinese school. I think I never have Chinese friend. So it's something that really new to me. Yeah, really new to me. And then, of course, in Sabah, we have so many cultures, background whatsoever. But the good thing is that I learned to adapt and adopt. I learned to adapt and adopt. The strange thing that I never experienced before that. And Alhamdulillah, when I get married with a mixed family. So my father-in-law is a Chinese and mother-in-law is a local Japanese. So it's I think a multicultural family as well. So it gives me so many lessons as experience. Uh, uh, so I can share that with others if they involved in the same situation. So we need to acknowledge, we need to respect each other. So Sabah, I think, is a very right place for those who want to learn about diversity, unity in diversity. And then also as we encourage students to learn about their diverse backgrounds, remember to take the time to highlight what's offensive and the distinction between cultural celebration and appropriation. Learning how to talk about other cultures in a respectful, mature ways is essential for success in life outside the classroom. Uh, we like it or not, we are in Malaysia. We need to accept that we are multiracial, multi-religion, multi-background, everything also multi. So we need to live with that. We need to respect others. We need to be mature during the discussion when we give our student topic for discussion. So again, we need to control them because some of our students might, go outside the path, say something might hurt others. So we are the one who moderate them, guide them how to present, what should be the things that they can discuss, what are the things that they cannot discuss in the classroom. And then we need to practice cultural sensitivity. Well, it is important to keep an open dialogue amongst students. It is equally as important to make sure we are being sensitive to everyone's culture, belief, and language concern as well. So again, that's why we are more creative because before we say something, we need to think about the things that we want to utter, we want to say. Is it sensitive or not? Is it touching others' belief, culture, or background? If I say this as my example, is it will hurt the lower class people or upper class people? So that's why we need to know our students better. So take the time to understand each student's cultural nuances, from learning styles to the language they use, and use these insights to design your lesson plan. Yeah, although we don't have a very detailed lesson plan like those teachers at school, but in university also we need to at least have our, very, very simple lesson plan. For example, if you teach English, provide English language learners with appropriate and relevant resources that help them improve their English comprehension skills. And this is for example. You can give many examples for other courses as well. Depend on our course what we teach. So with appropriate and relevant resources, not only one single resources, from one background resources, from multiple and a variety of resources. Rather than teaching with a traditional lecture style, create learning experiences that are more interactive and require collaboration. So one of the best way to connect them is through collaboration. So these considerations will help to ensure that every student feels included. Each and one of us feels included. Of them feel included. Is given the space to learn in their own way and is given a chance to succeed. So we call this as learn in their own way as self-regulated learning. They regulate themselves. They learn by their own ability. We know that different students, different learning style. Some students they like to learn until midnight, until 1 a.m., 2 a.m. Some students they will get sleep early and then they will wake up early as well. At 3 to 4, then they will do their revision at that time because nobody will disturb them. So to learn in their own way. As long it achieve our learning outcomes, then they will be success. And then the next step always is incorporate diversity in the lesson plan. So again, we prepare our lesson plan. The classroom environment is important for fostering cultural awareness. But you and me, us, also should ensure diversity is represented in our actual lesson plan. For example, use references and analogies to other cultures in our lessons and assignments to help students with diverse backgrounds personally connect. So this is the task for us to find references, analogies from other cultures. Yes, it's something that might challenge our effort, but this is our job as a lecturer. When we read more, we will have more knowledge. That's I think, the secret for successful, maybe for us as a lecturer, as a teacher, educator. When we stop reading, when we stop acquiring knowledge, when we stop doing our thing that we must do, that is gaining more knowledge. We know that learning is something continuous. So when we stop reading, we will think that we know everything, isn't it? Some people, they like to talk, say something, but the knowledge that they want to share is already, I think, obsolete, not relevant anymore because they stop reading. I hope in this session, most of us is not in this kind of people. After they have their PhD, they stop reading, they stop learning, then they tend to be a very, very right person. They want others to just listen to him or her without trying to understand others and without trying to gain more knowledge, acquire more knowledge through reading and whatsoever. So we need to use different references, analogies to other cultures as well. This is the kind of things that we need to do in order for us to attract our student attention. When they do attracted to us, then they will like our courses. They are waiting for our class. And in contrast, if they don't like us, we just give some examples that are not really related to their cultures, backgrounds. So they are not waiting for us. And when we cancel the class, yes, okay, no class. Hooray, hooray, okay. So I hope that we are not that kind of lecturers. Okay, next. Another great strategy is bringing in diverse speakers to add varying points of view and real-life contact to different subjects. There are several ways we can ingrain cultural awareness and diversity into our lesson plan, and it will vary very different depending on the cultures represented in our classroom and the course we are teaching. Okay? So if we have friends from other universities, from Indonesia, maybe from Brunei, from Thailand, or maybe from Peninsula, from USM, from other universities, now it's easy for us to call for intentional talk, or at least we just invite our friend to give 1 or 2 hours lecture during our course. We have 14 weeks. Why don't we try to invite our colleagues from Peninsula or from UK, if we have from US or UK or Australia, New Zealand, whatever places, then invite them to give talk to our student. Then our student will have a broader range of ideas, perspective, worldwide view, and it's good for them to learn from outsiders, from foreign, especially from foreign lecturers. So they will have different kind of knowledge and experience. Or we can call from Sabah or Sarawak as well. If you want our student to know more about a particular culture, let's say for example about Iban, we just call our friend or teachers, lecturers from Sarawak, Iban people, to talk about Iban, and etc. Or if you want to discuss about religion, we can go for religion discourse. We can call Mufti Imam, and then we can call someone from the church, and then from the Buddhist people, to talk, to discuss about this religious talk in a harmonious way, for example. Okay, so regardless of the course subject, always try to present and connect lessons to real world issues, because we are living in the real world, not theoretically, not ideally. Yes, it's very good we learn about the idealistic, the ideal one, but the more important thing is about the practical one, the practical aspect they need to face in their real life. It is easier to promote cultural awareness within our lessons when there's a real example for students to relate to. So this is a very, very crucial, because they will live in this community, society, nation, which diverse people. And then give students freedom and flexibility. Some educators often feel like they need to take on a strict, authoritative approach when it comes to managing their classroom. Keep quiet, don't talk in my class, for example. Okay, so it's something normal in our culture. So the most valuable lessons are often learned through a student's own experiences. So giving them some freedom in the course encourages more connection to the curriculum. So sometimes we like to give lecture. Yes, we are lecturer, so we give lecture. But how many times we give opportunities for the students to ask, to give opinion? So actually, the principle is that when we listen more, we will get more. That's why we need to learn how to listen. How to listen. Some people, they are listening, but they are not really have this concept of good listening. So we need to learn how to listen. Listen to our student, appreciate their opinion. If we don't agree with the opinion, it's okay, but don't reject it immediately with you by using words we are not really good to be heard. Allow students to read and present their own materials that relate to the fundamental lesson, so they can approach the topic from their own perspective. So bring from their own culture, the opinion, maybe the solution to one issue from their own perspective, their own culture. It might be written in any books, in any journal. So through that experience, by their own knowledge and local perspective, it will give us a new paradigm in our course. As a lecturer, we can act as a facilitator and encourage conversation and healthy debate between diverse opinions. That's why the word is healthy debate. Debate which produce a very positive impact. Group assignments are also a great way to expose students to diverse perspectives, allowing them to work together to explore and solve a problem. I think this is very common. Most of us will have these group assignments in our course. So just make sure that they are working with each other different with different backgrounds. Don't let only one single ethnic in one group. Sorry to say, this group is a Dusun group. This one is a Baojau group. This one is the Semenanjung group. This one is the Chinese International group. Don't let it happen. We need to make sure that their group consists from different backgrounds. This will also help prepare them for a diverse workforce where they will have to partner with a range of people to accomplish their professional goals. Means that if I'm a Malay, I can work with Chinese company. If I'm a Malay, as a boss, I can accept a Chinese workers, for example, or Indian workers, or Dusun, or whatever. If I'm a Muslim, I can accept my staff from different religion, as long as he is good and perform, qualified. So that's the things we need to know to make sure that our society, community will prolong with harmony, with prosperous, with it's a very safe country to be live in. Okay, we are come to the end of the session. Actually, I told Dr. Denis that I will finish my presentation in only 2 hours. I believe that 3 hours is too long. Sorry, I think 2 hours is enough for us to stay. I'm not very sure how many of you, but I just give my my sharing for today. It's actually for myself as well, to remind to me as the one who talk and to you as the audience. Okay, uniform standards can apply to a diverse classroom, so we need to establish different approaches for students with different learning needs. Some suggestion for making sure the classroom stays accessible and equitable. The use adaptive technologies. This is just example because we don't know or we know that some of students have physical disabilities, so we need to use adaptive technologies. Different types of instruction and teaching strategies. There are many types of strategies that can be used nowadays. So it's up to us to explore. That's why I mentioned again, we need to explore, we need to read more because there are now many new strategies introduced by the researchers, by the educators that can be applied on our students. And then create opportunities for all students to contribute. All the students, not only section of students, certain students, all of the students to contribute. Within groups, have students take on different roles that fit their strength and talents. Different people have different strengths, weaknesses, and talents. So we try to extract their talents, to highlight their talents in our class. Some students might like to perform, do some action, uh, and some might like to present because he or she is a very good presenter. So depends on their abilities and their strength or talents. And then we are the one who need to try to be more creative and innovative. Think about the unusual. Unusual. In term, I always call in Malay, not luar biasa, tetapi bukan biasa. Sometimes we try to become luar biasa. It's not easy for us to become luar biasa. Unusual to me is bukan biasa, but still relevant with our course. So the conclusion, lecturer and students interaction is very crucial to develop students' attitude. We go back to the beginning of our talk about the interactionism theory. Interaction is very crucial to develop students' attitude. We need to promote equality and equity. Both actually are important. Equity and equality in teaching and learning. Knowing students' background will ensure no one left behind. No one left behind. Maybe some lecturer is okay lah. It's a very remote cases, case terpencil. But remember that one case is still a human being. He or she, our student, is still a human being. So it's not animal, it's not insect. We just no problem, because our student is still a human being. If we left behind one person, it might give broader implication to the others, because one person can give impact to their village, to their community, and then at the broader range to the whole nation. And it can avoid inequality in education. Diversity among the students is indeed an advantage that should bring to better outcomes. Look from the positive perspective, then is an advantage that should bring to the better outcomes. And then we can teach and deliver knowledge to our students as well as transferring the skills, but transforming our students to become a better human being is far more important. It's okay for us to produce a student with like moderate achievement, but as long as he or she become a real human being, in Malay we call as kemenjadian insan, then it's okay. Rather than we produce a very good student, become an excellent engineer, but engineer who use the rules and regulation, who play with the system, who manipulate the data. So it's not good. I think to become a better human being is far more important, that can contribute to himself, his family, society, and the nation. And way forward, this is about change of attitude. If not now, so when? If we want to change, so when? When we want to change? We don't know. Are we still alive tomorrow? We don't know. So if you want to change, we change now. If not here, so where else? Oh, you want to wait until, never mind lah. Okay, I will transfer to other universities next year. No, if you want to change, we must change here in our workplace. And if not us, who else? And if you want to change others, we need to change our own self. So this is some of the statement that I want to share with you. Change your attitude, and it will change your life. And attitude change is the cheapest way. No need for us to pay even a cent and to change our life. So I think that's all. Thank you for those who attending this session, and sorry for any weaknesses, for any words that might hurt you. I'm not very sure. So that's all. Thank you again. Sekian. Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera. I give back to Puan Kashfi.
Ya. Macam dia tahu.
Terima kasih Dr. Suhaimi.
Keuniversitian kita bila kita
Ada apa-apa soalan lagi? Macam tidak ada soalan ni kan, Doktor?
Okay, tak ada. It's
Kalau
okay.
tiada soalan, boleh kita bergambarkan.
Boleh bang.
PPKA mau ambil bergambar macam ni dulu.
Okay.
Okey, kita jemput semua untuk buka kamera dulu untuk kita bergambar. Sambil-sambil tu saya ingin mengingatkan untuk semua peserta mengisi link kehadiran yang ada di ruangan chat. Mohon isi nama apa semua dengan betul ya. Mana Dr. Denis? Okay, saya ambil gambar ya. Okay, ada lagi buka kamera. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Sekejap ya. Sekali lagi ya. 1, 2, 3. Okay, terima kasih. Terima kasih sekali lagi Dr. Suhaimi atas kesudian memenuhi jemputan PPKA untuk bersama-sama dalam PPKA Talk Series ke-8 pada hari ini. Terima kasih juga kami ucapkan kepada semua peserta yang bersama-sama dalam sesi ini. Sekiranya jangan lupa isi, sekali lagi jangan lupa isi kehadiran dan kita akan berikan mata IDP dan sijil penyertaan lah. Okey, itu sahaja rasanya. Kita tutup majlis perkongsian ilmu kita pada hari ini dengan tasbih kafarah dan suratul Asr. Terima kasih semua. Assalamualaikum.
Dr. Suhaimi sudah lari kah?
Iya, keluar sudah dia doktor.
Cepat ya, tidak sempat saya cakap terima kasih.
Ya, kan doktor.
Ngam-ngam saya kena call tadi, tidak sempat.
Alah doktor, sorry doktor. Dia
Nggak-
pun
nggak
laju,
apa-apa.
laju terkeluar nih.
Lanjut dia keluar. Oke, juga lah. Ada berapa tadi kita kasih? Sudah 50 bahkan.
Apa tu Dr. Denis?
Kita punya peserta ada 50 bahkan tadi.
Ada 54 ke berapa tadi?
Oke.
Coba Dr. Suhaimi cek di WhatsApp.
Bah.
Oke doktor, thank you ya.
Thank you semua.
Thank you semua.